Hey, my friends. If you're worried about making ends meet, supporting your family, or just getting by in these tough times, you need to hear this. We're on the brink of something big. A $2,000 stimulus payment that could change lives for millions of Americans in 2025. Imagine what that extra money could mean, covering groceries, paying bills, helping your kids get what they need, or just having a little breathing room. But here's the thing. This payment won't go to everyone. Who qualifies? When could it hit your bank account? And what do you need to do right now to make sure you don't miss out? Stay with me, because I'm going to break it all down for you, clearly, simply, and with real numbers, and so you know exactly where you stand. You deserve that clarity. I'm here to help. For those of you new here, I'm Mike, and I've spent years helping people just like you navigate government benefits, stimulus programs, and economic updates that matter to your wallet and your family's future. This channel is all about empowering you with facts and practical advice so you can make the best decisions. Now, let's get into the latest update on the $2,000 Trump tariff dividend stimulus checks expected in 2025, what it means, who could get it, and how it could impact you and your community. Here's where we stand. President Trump has proposed a $2,000 stimulus payment for eligible Americans, funded by revenue from tariffs imposed on imported goods. The idea is to give back the money collected from tariffs directly to the people, a dividend of sorts. Why does this matter? Because millions of families, seniors, and workers are still feeling the pinch from inflation, rising costs, and economic uncertainty. This payment could be a financial lifeline, a one-time boost that helps cover essential expenses, debt, or savings. But there's a catch. The plan isn't yet law. For these checks to become real, Congress needs to pass legislation and the president must sign it. We're watching this closely because the window to get this done is tight, targeting payments before the end of 2025. Let's talk specifics. Who qualifies? Based on what we know so far, here's the likely breakdown. Seniors on Social Security, many older Americans living on fixed incomes could see this payment. For someone receiving the average Social Security benefit of around $1,925 per month, a $2,000 check is more than a full month's income. Recipients of SSDI and SSI, people with disabilities relying on federal benefits, would also likely qualify. Veterans, those receiving VA benefits, could get this as a supplemental payment, not affecting their existing monthly benefits. Low to middle income families and workers, many working Americans and families with incomes below a certain threshold would be eligible. Earlier stimulus rounds phased out payments starting at about $75,000 for individuals and $150,000 for couples, so expect similar guidelines. Other groups possibly included those receiving unemployment benefits, certain federal employees, and people in economically distressed regions. How much will the payment be? The figure we're hearing is a flat $2,000 per eligible person. That's a substantial one-time payment. For families, that could mean $4,000 or more if both spouses qualify, plus additional payments for dependents if included. When could payments start? If legislation passes soon, deposits could begin as early as late November or December 2025, just in time to help with holiday expenses or winter bills. Otherwise, payments may roll out in early 2026, state-by-state considerations. Different states may have unique processes, especially for those on combined benefits, like state supplements to federal programs, or those in need of applying through state agencies. For example, California and New York tend to move quickly with distributing benefits and could start payments earlier. Rural states or those with less infrastructure might see slight delays. Veterans in states with strong VA offices may get quicker access to supplemental payments. The bottom line, while federal legislation governs who qualifies, your state's agencies will manage the actual distribution. Now, let's get real for a moment. This isn't just numbers on a page, it's about real people. Imagine an elderly couple trying to make their Social Security stretch through rising healthcare and housing costs. For them, $2,000 isn't just extra cash, it's the difference between choosing medicine or groceries. Think about a single parent juggling work and childcare, trying to keep the lights on while making sure their kids have warm coats and school supplies. That $2,000 could cover rent, utilities, or even save them from taking on debt. And consider young workers facing stagnant wages, struggling to build savings. This dividend could offer a rare financial breather, a chance to catch up on bills or invest in their future. That's why this update matters so much. It's about dignity, security, and hope for millions. So, what can you do today to prepare and make sure you're ready? Verify your information with the IRS and Social Security Administration. Make sure your address, bank account, and contact info are current to avoid delays. Visit IRS, Gov, and SSA. Gov to check your details. File your taxes on time. Previous stimulus payments were based on your latest tax returns. If you haven't filed or need help, now is the time. Watch out for scams. Scammers will jump on this news. Remember, no government agency will ever call or email you asking for your social security number or bank info. If you get suspicious messages, hang up or delete immediately. Stay informed, subscribe to reliable news sources and this channel for updates. As soon as legislation passes or payments start, I'll break down exactly what you need to know. Reach out for local assistance. Many states and communities offer programs to help with food, utilities, or housing. If money is tight now, look into these supports while waiting for the stimulus. My friends, I know these times are challenging, but you're not alone. Together, we can navigate this complex system and make sure you get every dollar you deserve. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like button. It helps others find this information too. Drop a comment below and tell me, are you expecting this $2,000 payment? How would it help your family? What questions do you have? I read every comment, and your stories inspire me to keep bringing you clear, trustworthy updates. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a critical update about stimulus payments, Social Security, and benefits that affect your life. Thanks for watching, take care of yourself and your loved ones, and I'll see you in the next update. Subscribe, latest stimulus news, and benefits explained pay up. Will you qualify for Trump's $2,000 stimulus check? Everything we know so far, President Trump has promised that certain Americans will see $2,000 checks stemming from government revenue generated by his trade policy. As the country's affordability problems grow, the president has once again proposed a unique solution in the form of tariff rebate checks. The current administration has raked in hundreds of billions in revenue from tariffs, including import taxes recently imposed by Trump, as well as tariffs in place before he took office. As Americans grapple with inflation and the high cost of living, the president has floated the idea of putting this money back into consumers' pockets by sending out $2,000 tariff dividends. Trump shared his idea for the tariff rebate on Truth Social over the weekend, defending the import taxes after eyebrows were raised over their legality during the Supreme Court hearing on Wednesday. People that are against tariffs are fools. We are now the richest, most respected country in the world with almost no inflation and a record stock market price, began the president, adding that the U.S. was taking in trillions of dollars thanks to the tariffs. He continued to say that a dividend of at least $2,000 per person would be paid to everyone, not including Americans with high incomes. Typically, rebates and stimulus payments are issued via the tax code, requiring Congress to pass new laws, giving the Treasury Department permission to send checks. Congress overhauled the tax code earlier this year through Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill Act, which rolled out new breaks like eliminating taxes on tipped income, although the law package did not include rebates or dividends for Americans. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent gave an update on the $2,000 checks proposed by the president in an interview with ABC News on Sunday. While Bessent said he had not discussed the idea with Trump, he noted that the tariff dividends could arrive in lots of forms, such as through the tax cuts already enacted through the president's spending bill from July. It could be just the tax decreases that we are seeing on the president's agenda. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, deductibility of auto loans, Bessent said. Any Americans are hoping that Trump's promised tariff dividends will be distributed in the form of $2,000 checks rather than just tax breaks. However, many remain skeptical, considering that the $5,000 Doge stimulus checks proposed earlier this year were abandoned, with no news about the payments for months. Other concerns include the fact that the legality of the tariffs themselves is currently being debated by the Supreme Court, with judges questioning Trump's use of emergency powers to impose tariffs. Additionally, the $2,000 checks would likely need to be approved by Congress first.